Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jack Blade, and let's get going with today's episode. This is episode 9 of our beginner's guide of our Satisfactory series. Uh, yeah, that was the most dumb way I could say all those things, but here we go. Today we are going to build a factory that makes heavy modular frames. So we need a bunch of stuff to line up for that. So I've been doing a lot of prep work, and as you can see in my bottom left corner, I have now an equipped gas mask and a jetpack, so I can fly around a little bit. And I bought some fuel from the Awesome Shop, and I have been going around and unlocking so many alternative recipes because I've been looking for the specific ones that I needed for this factory. And I want to be clear, I have made some mistakes in the prep work that I have to fix, and that's my mistake. But yeah, I have unlocked a bunch of stuff. I went through these last time, so I'm not going to do that again. But as you can see, there is a bunch of stuff that I have unlocked now, which enables us to do a bunch more stuff when we are looking at our factory designs and everything. So what I have done first of all is I have, if I go in here and look at our power, this is one of the things that I've unlocked, and I'm going to explain that. If we look here at our power now, we have a capacity of 7,600 and a current production that is going up and down. I'm going to show you why later. But this I'm going to go through. That's a bit of a like its own kind of system. I'm going to go through that in a bit. But basically, what I have been trying to do is design a factory that provides us the needed heavy modular frames for all of our future projects, specifically with building, not for producing specific parts, just for building and that kind of stuff. And so the factory itself is probably going to be using like over 200 machines, like different. It's gonna be everything from refineries, it's going to be foundries, it's going to be constructors, assemblers, manufacturers. I need to set up like water extraction and stuff like that, or I have set up water extraction, but I have to change it. So yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff that I've basically set myself the challenge of completing in this one episode, which is a massive project. And to do that, I made a lot of prep work. I did a lot of prep work to save myself. What am I out of? Is it out of fuel? It's out of fuel. Let's put in some fuel. There we go. Oh, I'm off to a great start, aren't I? This is just excellent. But yeah, we're gonna start with driving over to our construction site, which if we look on the map is going to be up here in the north. And I want to start with some of the stuff that we have been doing as the prep. I've unlocked a bunch of stuff in the MAM. Let's start with going through that stuff. I basically completed the entire quartz tree because I needed to be able to scan for hard drives, and I needed to be able to place down radar towers. And then I also finished the Caterium, literally just because I wanted to get to being able to use the priority power switch, and I wanted to be able to place down the geothermal generators, which is a vanilla renewable power source. And I figured I might as well just like finish up this thing, which was quite expensive. So I've also been killing a ton of creatures. I think I put in something like 1,000 plus stuff, like to get tickets. And if you look at parts, we're getting to some pretty expensive parts. Like 50 supercomputers are 8 tickets, 6 tickets for 6 or 50 computers, and that kind of stuff. And then I've just been like buying Like this is what I need the most of, because I have the jetpack and it uses fuel. So yeah. Then aside from everything else I've unlocked, let's shove some biofuel in here and let's get going. Other things that I've unlocked and everything, I will show you on the way what it means and what's the importance of it. Let's see if I can drive here without actually tipping over. There we go. So basically what I've been trying to do is, I'm gonna take the long way around so that I can show you guys what I've been unlocking, or rather what I've been doing with the things that I've unlocked. Let's see, we are on the road here, so I'm just gonna follow this. This is gonna take us to our, oh, sorry bird. This is gonna take us to our starter base, which is the starting point. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get back here. There we go. And in our starter base we have a one of the things that I've changed, which is the way the power is set up. We can start over here. Alright, so what I've started with is this. I've disconnected this. It doesn't power straight into the base anymore, like the smaller lines. The hydro generators powers into the power towers, and they go up and above where they also are connected to the air wind turbines. And I've also placed out some tier 2 wind turbines to give us a little bit more power. But they do connect into a system over here that has a priority power switch in between it and the starter base. Right? To make it easy, the priority power switches basically lets me control things remotely and turn on and off factories, and it also shuts down certain parts of the power grid if we're looking like we're hitting the limits of our power generation. And it's like, instead of the entire grid shutting down, only certain parts shut down. This becomes super important, especially later when we need to balance out with nuclear power production. Because if that's like a part of that shuts down, if part of that ecosystem shuts down, the world could literally become unplayable. Like it's a bad mojo time of day. But yeah, like you can see, I've basically gone in, and the way that I've increased power generation is I have gone into all of these caves. In there is a ton of hydro nodes, and up in the red forest is a bunch of hydro nodes that I've connected to. And the way that I've found all of them is by using these radio towers. You can see the higher you place them, the higher you place your radio towers, the larger the area in which they scan becomes. Right? So it shows everything in here. And I've basically just made it invisible to like make it easy to see. But if I open this up and I show them on the map and I click this, you can see that I've gone around. All of these are ones I have connected to the power grid, and I have 2 radio towers, and I have one over here as well. You can barely see it, but there is a radar tower that connects to this area. So I've basically gone in and connected up and made sure that I have all of this power connected into my grid, along with some geothermal generators, which is how I've basically been able to get to the power generation we needed for the factory. You can see I've also, like, just to show you guys, these are the nodes that I have connected in to the factory. What it doesn't show is one over here. There are 2. I'm just gonna select this, and it's gonna be iron x2 x2 apply, And let's see. And I want to make sure that I'm gonna remove these. They're literally there to show you guys. So all of these nodes are connected in, which gives us a total of 3 limestone nodes and 4 coal nodes and 6 iron nodes, which is what we need to run the factory up here that we are building. And I'm also going to make a correction. There is a coal node up in that area that I showcased during a video in the tips and tricks series, where I made a what are they called? What's the best starting position? And that coal node was one of the reasons why I found that place to be so good, because that's a pure coal node, close to a starting position. And I am the correction that I am putting out here is in 1.0 that node will be removed. Okay, so we won't have that node. You can see I've connected up a bunch of power lines here as well to connect up hydro power, so we have even more for our factory. Let me drive over so we can actually start seeing. I've already grabbed that. Hard drive, I've grabbed a lot of hard drive. I've probably grabbed something like 40 hard drives. And you can see over there in the distance, you can see part of the infrastructure that I've been building. And oh, please don't tip over. There we go. Don't get stuck. There we go. Oh, okay, we're safe. We're safe. So yeah, and generally you can see like all around this entire landscape. You can see it's a bit dotted around, and that's another radio tower that I have built specifically to find more power nodes for the hydropower. And in the end, I like this factory will be using an insane amount of power to run, but it also provides one of the hardest to automate resources for us in abundant amounts. Okay, can we back up? This is a very good grip, these tires. Okay, here we go. This is the prep work that I've been making or doing, but it's not necessarily the best prep work because I have made some mistakes with it. I've left this out to show you how I've made perfectly aligned, smooth surroundings of this thing that is slightly elevated, because I wanted to have a walkway all the way around where you can see into the first logistics floor. But yeah, basically I've also been I made a video here making blueprints, showing how the blueprint designer works and how you can use that for the factory. So when you're looking at this, it's okay, what's the mistake I've made out here? First of all, it in and of itself was not a mistake because I didn't have the alternative recipes that I expected when I started designing this factory. I unlocked them after I had designed and put out all of this, which means that, and here's all the resources coming in as well. 6 times 270 iron, 4 times 270 coal, and 3 times 270 limestone. So yeah, the major problem with that was that when I unlocked a specific or 2 specific recipes, wet concrete, which uses refineries to be produced, and pure iron, which uses also refineries to be produced, the footprint of the amount of refineries we need are insanely large. No matter if I build vertically or if I spread myself out. However, because the refineries to work also needs water, there's water physics involved, and I don't necessarily want to pump water 200 meters up into the air. That's not necessarily what I want to be doing. So instead, what I will do is I will have to expand this factory out that direction. To what direction does that become? That direction is west. So the reason for that is I need something like 47 refineries for iron specifically. I need another 7 refineries for the concrete, and yeah, I need a lot of space. And if we want to take a look at how large a refinery is, like this is one, right? So if I just go into fly here, you can see how big one of them is. So if I were to just to put this into perspective, this is the mistake I've made. I have planned this factory with a footprint that is way too small. So what we have here, let's see, there's 11 refineries here. We're gonna need like 4 times this. You see my problem here, right? Oh no, sorry, 10. There's 10 refineries here, and I need to fit. Let me bring up the list so that I can be super accurate about this. Just give me a hot second here. There we go, and here is the list. I need 7 concrete refineries, 47 iron refineries, 27 carbon dust constructors, 60 carbon steel foundries, 17 iron plate constructors. I only need 1 steel beam constructor, but then I need 5 iron rod constructors. However, they'll be using the steel rod alternative recipe. And then I need 3 times the steel screw, which is also alternative recipe, constructors. I need 25 steel pipe constructors. I need 12 assemblers to make reinforced iron plate. I need 19 assemblers to make modular frames. I need 12 assemblers to make encased industrial beams. And then finally 5 like heavy modular frame manufacturers. Like that is a very large amount of machines, and I pretty much want to divide what I'm doing per floor, right? So I want to be able to have. I don't necessarily believe that I will have all the iron refineries on one level, but if I can at least get them, like if we bring this up, so we need 47 of them, right? We have 6 iron lines. So we need to divide that by 6, which means I need to have 8 refineries per line. So if I can have that like 3 per layer and I just have 2 layers of refineries like vertically, then I would have like 8 times 3, still 24 refineries, give or take, per layer. So it would still need, like if I'm just laying this out here so we can see how large that is. It is 2 lines of this plus its associated logistics. So that is 2 layers of this, right? Plus the concrete, which is 7. Like, it might actually be that I fit all that I need. One more. It might actually be that I fit all that I need on... If I just make it so I have... like this... and... up here, if I go like this and have a logistics floor that is too high, and then I do this and have the second round on top, that might actually work. That might actually work, though. So I might not actually have to... Okay, this is me problem solving live here. So yeah, then I might be able to fit everything that I want on this one. That's really nice. That's really cool. Okay, then it's just the second problem. I have made this, which brings in... I've overclocked these entirely. So they bring in 300 per minute. So that is 300, and I combine them, combine. So I have 3 Mark II lines of 600 each. That's 1800 water. I don't need the full 1800, but I also need more than 3 lines because this uses 675 and this uses over 900. And with how water works, me splitting one of these lines down again and putting 300 to this and then 300 to this might work, but it can also be wonky as hell. So I might have to pull in a 4th line. So I have 2 lines per, but we'll see how I will deal with that. We can look down here what I've done. I've pulled this in. And I started pulling power in here. The power, if you can see, like all the resources are being pulled in here. And next to this, I have this priority power switch in here, which if we look in the circuit break priority, this is the only one that's turned off. If I flip this to on state, it's gonna start this factory. So that's basically how this works, and I can just drag and drop. So if I don't care about them being on or off in the priority groups, I can just pull them out here, and I can go like whatever, I don't care. But I want to have them in here like this. I'm just gonna do like this so that they, yeah. So if I run out of power, these are gonna shut off and save me power, and if that's not enough, this is gonna shut off. And then on and so forth. Here's where I'm gonna put like my power generation later, like fuel production and fuel generators and all that kind of stuff. That's gonna be in the priority group 1. That's the most important part, together with like nuclear power and stuff. So I'm building it up like this is the least important stuff. If this shuts down, that's fine. I only have the HQ master switch as a remote control, so I can be over there and start and stop factories as needed. That's the space elevator part production, and then the radar towers is like they take 30 megawatts each, but I still want to be able to save that 60 if I need to. Then it's the different factories that we've built: the steel factory, starter factory, and this is the factory that we're building now. So with that in mind, I will, like as you can see here, these are pretty much like what I've been doing with the diagonals all the time, which is I take, and like this is the actual corner here, the corner of this foundation, as you can see here. So if I want to make this, I just take, okay, here's where the corner's going to be, and I've built from this direction, right? So let's go. I'm gonna remove this so I do this properly. And instead of coming from both directions, like started one over there and started one over there, I've been drawing all the way around from starting over at this corner and then draw all the way around instead of setting that, and draw in between, because it started getting unaligned in a way that I couldn't fix. So this is how I've solved it. And I basically place 2 of these, grab the foundation. So if I delete over here now, I just grab this foundation, put in the middle of the second foundation, not the first and not in the middle of both of them, in the middle of the second foundation. And that first road barrier has to be placed on the corner, like going out, and in the middle. Then you can place in the middle of that, boom, and you will also automatically have a perfect aligned corner with no noticeable like pop-outs or overlaps, set fighting or anything like that, especially not if you're using the set fighting tips that I posted in that video. So here, basically, I just pull that along. Over here, there's been some wonkiness as well, so I have to fix that stuff. But basically, if I remove, oh, not that, all of these, now what we get is a very nice, smooth, whoa, we might be, no, that was autosave. I've had some crashing problems. I am thinking that it might have to do with the largest blueprint designer being unlocked. I'm not certain, but if it starts happening more and more, it's probably something else because I'm not using the largest blueprint designer. Okay, so if there is anything about this that is weird to you guys, then please ask in the comments. The entire point of this series is for you guys to learn and for you guys to figure out the game and possibly have something to follow along with. Like, why did I pick this place? And I picked this place because of the combination of resources. Because if we look on the map, we have 4 coal nodes, right? There is 1 pure iron node here. There's a normal limestone, but there's a pure limestone there and a pure limestone there. Iron, and I could make with a single main line, and I just split that off and went up here and was like, okay, there's a miner, perfect. Give me all of your resources. And just look, this coal node, we look on the map, this coal node is what will be removed in 1.0, so that's something to keep in mind. That will be gone. But yeah, I've basically just had to make one line to pull up all the resources, and I put them on stilts so that it is not interfering with the natural life here, because these will keep spawning and they will mess with you. Oh, spider. Huh. Yeah. And basically I just been pulling in all of the resources and pooling them, and hopefully like this makes sense to you guys, and hopefully it's easy for you guys to like do something similar. And the reason why I'm doing it like this with a long like bus, conveyor bus like this, is specifically because I don't I haven't explained train lines to you guys yet, and I haven't gone through it, and I haven't started setting up that infrastructure for myself. So I'm not going to. I'm going to be using this for this factory. Not until we are done with this and set up the plastic factories and oil and like working with all that kind of stuff will I be starting to deal with trains and all that jazz. So, with that in mind, this I will see what I do with this. I'm going to have to split this up and figure out how I do it. I've prepped some blueprints for building this factory, but I'm probably going to have to remake them so that they fit better. The refineries are massive, which is why I'm not just using the vanilla print designer. I'm using a larger one where the refineries are better suited in terms of like me having the space to work with like logistics floors and stuff like that, which I can't do in this one because the refinery is too damn big. I can't afford. I can't place too many. Hey, sorry, you gotta go. There we go. So as you can see, the refinery takes up too much space here. So I'm not going to be using the vanilla one to design blueprints using refineries. I'll be using the larger blueprint designers. But yeah, I will be back once I have set up the first stage, and I'm also going to, yeah, I saved that. I made a nice list. I'm actually gonna put that up. I'm gonna show you another very nice thing with this. You've probably seen it on some other videos, but I'm gonna show you guys here. Like if you open your inventory and you go to the right side, you can see that I'm starting to get a darker outline. If I click that, I get a to-do list with public notes, private notes. This can be seen by the entire server. If it's a multiplayer game, this can only be seen by you. And if you add recipes, if I go in here, you click the plus, you see, you get the recipes like this. So if I don't remove that, that goes away. And here in this, I'm going to copy paste in this. So because here what you get, if I close this now, here is a very nice to-do list. So here's basically the plan. I will be making a metric crapload of refineries to process all of our resources and create the step number 1 in the Heavy Modular Frame factory. And I will not be making a couple of blueprints because I made those in the video that I like. As of recording, it's coming out in 3 hours for me. It's coming out. It has come out when this video comes out. So, see you guys in a couple of seconds while I figure all of this out, and I'll bring you guys back in. All right, so we are back. And I am done with step number 1. So, what has changed? Number 1, I have overhauled the entire intake of iron to guarantee an even amount so we don't have gaps in our production. So I have upgraded everything to belt Mark IV all the way throughout the entire thing. As you can see, I've also been doing some stuff with the architecture. I have been putting out everything to make the, like, step 1 is what I call when I'm just processing the base resources. So these things and the water. And what we see here is the first logistics floor. The resources are coming in and I'm bringing them down underneath because they needed load balancing. So I'm gonna start with walking you through that. And I'm not necessarily going to explain all the load balancing because I have been spending something like 20 hours on this part. And not just this part, but like on this factory. And my brain is mush, and I don't necessarily remember everything that I did and why I did it. So this is the load balancing, not very compact, specifically so that you guys can still, if you want to, see what I have done. Okay? So this is the iron coming in, and this is the final, like, bit that keeps it running, so to speak. So yeah, that's basically it for the iron. And bringing that in, I'm gonna be very clear. Like, 2 of these lines are 300. I think 1, 2 is 300, and then you have 480, 480, and then I think you have another 300, and then one 480. That's basically what I like, if I remember correctly. Remember, my brain is mush. I've tried to make like 3 weeks of progress in like 3 days, so give me a little bit of grace here as I try to remember exactly what I've gone through. And the first step I brought in was just make sure that the concrete is working, and I brought in one pipe, full pipe of 600, and then I put in a Mark 1 pipe that I have limited using a valve. I set that to 150. That's not necessarily the exact number. I'm not being super efficient with water. It's not like we're going to run out of it. It's infinite. and I can put down 1,000,000 of these and it's not going to be a problem. And I'm using these to have like turned on and off parts of the factory, right? But yeah, like here, water from the main line goes in, and this is the main line feeding the concrete line with water, and then this one supports to make sure that it gets exactly what it needs, or rather everything that it needs. And then if we go to the other, like the iron, I'm bringing the iron up from here instead. You can see iron coming up, right? And then I also have iron coming up and iron coming up. You can ignore this for now. Like a lot of this is gonna change based on like me finding how many mistakes I made in planning this factory. I'm trying to challenge myself, so this is a way of building the factory that I don't normally do, which is like I basically decided on its footprint before I started building. Normally I build out everything and then I do like building around whatever the factory needed. This challenged me to build vertically a lot more, but I did not want to bring the water up more than absolutely necessary, which is like what I mentioned before, is what I was like my problem with these were with the iron refineries. The iron refineries are hooked up as well and taken care of. They basically bring in a load balanced amount of iron on 4 tracks, which then creates, I think it's like 3,100 iron ingots. And this one I think creates like 530, 540 concrete. Let me bring that up so you guys can see what exactly step 1 consists of. And let's see, so that I don't lie, I will also have my notes next to this. And it is 540 concrete. It is 3,100, or about 3,000, depending on like exact numbers. I think I've added 1 extra refinery here or something like that to even stuff out. In my notes it says I need 46.2, that is 47 refineries, but I have 48. So that's 48 refineries producing 65 iron ingots each, which if we bring up, that's 65 times 48, 3,120. That's how many iron ingots we're producing. And then the coal is like, this has been the bane of my existence, I swear. Not just because of the like load balancing later, but literally just moving it around. Because like as you can see, like I've brought everything up to be produced, and they give me 100 carbon dust per minute. That's the general production for all of this, except for the last one on each line, which produces 75 instead. So you can see that it produces 75 per minute. It's underclocked. And then I bring that up to a logistics floor on top, where like I'm bringing up some stuff, some materials that I need. And you can see like this entire thing, starting from here. I want to fly over this. I'm gonna show you guys. This is a load balancer. All the carbon dust, all the black squares you see here, this is a single massive load balancer that I had to figure out, and I have built, and I've torn it down, I've built it again at least 6 or 7 times before I got the even distribution, because each foundry needs like exactly 450, like I need exactly 2,700 carbon dust, and I've gotten that, but I also need to make sure that they are evenly put into the steel foundries to produce the steel. So if we go up, you can see here, and then I've brought up even more carbon dust and iron, and all the steel is coming out here. So is the concrete, that's gonna change later. A lot of this is like just basically me thinking that I could do it one way, and then I'm going to realize down the line That's not the case. But we're basically, for me, moving back in time because the factory is already done in my present. I'm just showing off everything that I have made so far. And yes, I built this. Actually, I built this in fly mode because if I hadn't, I would have spent another 2 weeks building this, and I would have killed myself building this. So this is just how I've made it a logistical possibility to make a video in a week. Like I've done this in 3 days, so that I can have it done for you guys. But yeah, refineries take a lot more space, so I've just let them be the way they are. And then up top, I had like a roof design. I might keep that, I might change or add some stuff to it. But I want to basically have the smokestacks pointed out so we can see all the smoke coming out when they're in action. But yeah, we have 60 foundries making steel, and both the steel and the iron we have a massive amount of surplus. Like I think we have like 600 or 800 surplus steel, and we have 2,100 surplus iron. And the main reason for this is to make sure that we can use this steel and use this iron elsewhere. I am going to bring that out down here or on the other side. I might because that's what I've put where in present the end product is over here. So I might put a train station on this side or over here that actually picks up all the iron, the heavy modular frames, and the surplus steel, so that we can use that in other factories around this area. That's the idea. That's why I've been overdoing this. So then that's basically it. Basically been bringing in the carbon dust so that it goes up. You can see here the steel comes out the same direction. I don't necessarily think I'm going to use that method again. I think I want to bring in and then out instead. And then we have you can see the setup here is quite simple, and I have very nice blueprints. You can see these HMF steel sections. They are very, very nice. Each section has 10 foundries, and they are set up with recipes. They are perfectly set up so that I can just click down 60 foundries very quickly. The main bit of time that has been going has been figuring out the logistics, not necessarily placing the machines that produce certain things. So yeah, but yeah, there we got, and then I want to talk about the alternative recipes. We have an infinite amount of water. We do not have an infinite amount of iron, in terms of any given location. This recipe is just so much more efficient that I just if I have it, I'm gonna use it. And the same thing goes for the wet concrete. Before we had a 3-to-1 ratio of 3 limestone makes 1 concrete. Now we have 3 limestone makes 2 concrete instead on that line, which makes it a lot more efficient. Same thing goes for the carbon. It's an incredibly efficient recipe, which I definitely felt was worth the hassle of setting up, so that I don't feel like I have to, if I combine this, because there's more coal and iron over there, if I combine that and make a dedicated steel factory to just produce, or a steel refinery or foundry that I can put on trains and move to other factories, that's going to be an insane amount of steel. That's basically the idea of those recipes. So that's the carbon steel ingot, that's the pure iron ingot, and then the wet concrete is that recipe. This one is a modded recipe. This comes from refined energy. Keep that in mind. Then let's see. I think that is it for step 1. as far as I can remember. If you feel like I've missed anything, down in the comments and yell at me so I can like go over it with you again. I also, like I said, when I fixed all of this stuff, I found some slugs and I fixed that as well. But yeah, okay, like I'm gonna move on and we're gonna go through step 2 now. Alright, so step 2 is set up. And as you can see, I've had to bring this out more. I realized there were recipes that I had not made. And something that I have figured out now, I kind of want to have something moving on the outside like this. I've seen it with both Bits and I'm Kibitz in their videos, and I just figured like I want to try and put that into my design somehow as part of the logistics. But yeah, like stage 2 is the intermediary parts. Like I showed you, we made all the steel, we made all the iron, we made all the like concrete, but what are we using it for? Let me bring that up on screen so that you guys can see what step 2 or stage 2 consists of. It is first of all, let's see, I think that's over here. Yes, it's iron plates. Never mind my spaghetti here. That is something that I will deal with when I have life, like the will to live back again. And I will have like a cleanup episode or stream or something in the future. But yeah, these basically make all the iron plates that we need. Those are 17 constructors making iron plates. These are the vanilla recipe. Then we have, let's see, that's the same. Over here we have a bunch of steel products. All of these are just steel pipes. These are all the steel pipes that we need. Let's see, if I remember correctly, that's 10 that's 20. Yeah, we're making 400, yeah, 500 steel pipes. And then we're making an alternative recipe. We're making steel rods. That's 12 steel ingots makes 48 iron rods. Very, very nice, because you can, like, this is half a Mark IV belt build up. Like, it's very, very nice, quick production. That's basically what I have that for. And then I'm bringing everything up in different ways to the next level. And remember, like, these are the intermediary parts. So this isn't necessarily like all the way to the final, but we're making 340 iron plates. We're making, in this one constructor over here, we have 15 steel beams being made. We have 240 iron rods and 500 steel pipes. And it's 17 constructors for the iron plates, 1 constructor for the steel beam, 5 constructors for the steel rods, and 25 constructors for the steel pipes. And basically, I've just been messing around with this, trying to make something that might look nice. And I'm not gonna finish this in this episode, but it's definitely like an outline, something that I can work on later, in a later episode, when we feel more like doing architecture stuff. So yeah, this is step 2, or stage 2. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this was the like easier part of the entire thing. The hard part was the first, like, stage 1, easy part stage 2, and I am back to like it being like kind of difficult to figure out the logistics, not setting the machines, just the logistics of the final stage. All right, we're in the final stage, and it is complete. We are making heavy modular frames. You can see them coming over there. Oh, very, very nice. So what has changed aside from the building getting even taller? Like if we're standing down here on the ground. Oh, a spider. Nope. Let's stand over here instead. That is a pretty imposing building. It kind of like takes over the yeah, you can see I needed a little bit more power. I'm gonna make something more decent with that, but I just needed some quick power, and this was how I did it. But yeah, you can see that this is a pretty massive factory compared to the biome. Like even by what we've built before, this is a pretty large factory, like volume-wise, because like it doesn't look like it, but because of the vertical nature, it is pretty damn huge. And if you look here now in stage 3, we are taking the stuff that we brought up before, the pipes, the iron plates, and everything. We're making screws over here, which we needed to send up or send over to make the reinforced iron plates over here, which we are bringing together and bringing out. We have encased beams here, which we are also bringing over. And let me see here. We're bringing up the concrete. We need some of it, but we also need some of it for the actual like heavy modular frames. And then we have, yeah, I think that's it from here. And yeah, so if we go up one step, next level of logistics, I have put up the modular frames, the normal modular frames here, and they are being fed with the steel rods, the iron rods that we were making in stage 2, and the reinforced iron plates. That is also from this stage. And you can see over here, you have encased industrial beams, and you have reinforced iron plates being made here. So yeah, I basically set that up in the these parts up using blueprints. You can see here, and I had to split these because they're 2 different sizes. This one has 10, this one has 9 machines, and yeah, I basically just made like a section for each part, and like how I wanted it to set up and how I want the recipes and everything. So the screws are being made in terms of. I'm just gonna bring up the picture first. Sorry, don't forget that picture for stage 3. Here we go. This is us making reinforced iron plates. That's the vanilla recipe, but we're using the constructors. That's 12 assemblers for the reinforced iron plates, but we need 3 constructors to make the alternate steel screw. That's these. You can see it's 5 steel beams, makes 260 screw per minute, and which is basically just me trying to cut down on the many machines and how much power we're using. And then that goes in with the iron plates and becomes the reinforced iron plates. Iron rods go straight over and becomes modular frames together with the reinforced iron plates. There we have 19 assemblers. And then the concrete is split up and goes partly to the manufacturers, but it also goes to the 12 assemblers that makes the encased industrial pipes. And that's an alternate recipe as well. It uses, this one normally uses steel beams here. We're using pipes now instead. We use more, like it takes a higher volume, but it's a less amount of pure, like actual like raw resources. And also it means that I can just produce more pipes because that's what we also use for the final product. And we bring all of this up and over, like you can see this mess over here, and we bring that over, we bring that around, we collect all the modular frames and everything, and if we go through here, modular frames partly over there, there's 10 over there, 9 over here, and then we bring our 4 final products, the steel pipes, the concrete, modular frames, and the encased industrial beams. We bring those over, they are then sent on this conveyor manifold into our manufacturers. And I have marked out, like explained the manufacturer. It's the what I want to explain with them is like number 1, they use a lot more power. They use 55 megawatts per machine. The step before that is 14.8. Or it's supposed to be 15, actually. So yeah, if you can find an alternate recipe that does what you want it to, for something that is normally made in a manufacturer that you can instead make here in a assembler, do it. You save so much energy. Same thing goes, if I remember correctly, how much do these use? Yeah, they use 30. So it's like 15, 30, 55. And that's if you don't overclock them. So yeah, that's what I wanted to explain. And you have different ways of dealing with the logistics. Some people do like a stair, like 1, 2, 3, 4, with how they split it to run the lines, and other people do it like the way that I do it, where you have 2 on each side, that you then deal with like the same way that you would put an assembler. Other people have like sushi belts along that they split everything in where they get to the machines, that kind of stuff. So there are different ways of dealing with the inputs. But yeah, when you're dealing, like, this is the first really big project. So this is what you can actually expect. If this is what you want to make, like if you just want one machine, you don't, like, you need a fifth. You don't even need a fifth. You need like an eighth. Like, like, you need so little compared to what I've used here. This is literally just me showing off what you can do. Like, this is how big you can go at this point in the game. And it's also because I want to plan for the future. And that's a lot of it when it comes to Satisfactory. It's plan for the future or go back and rebuild over and over and over again, and that gets kind of boring. It's why a lot of people like give up on their saves, is because they're like, okay, it goes faster for me to just start over than to rebuild this stuff, like tear it down and rebuild it again. That's one of the main reasons why people give up on their saves. And I don't want to do that, so I'm planning for the future. So, in the end, our heavy modular frames, they're brought over here using an infinite. You can see here there is this conveyor lift floor hole here. It makes it so that I can, by starting here and then aiming at that, I can make an infinitely tall conveyor lift. And it comes down. Right now this is full. I've been AFKing a little bit as well to fill this up. So this is full, and then the overflow goes in here, and you can see, like, it's not super fast, but when we're getting it, it's like 219,000 points per minute, which is insane. Before we were getting like 40, just to put it in perspective. So yeah, that's basically the end of the first massive project, and I want to make sure that I am clear here. I won't be doing this again. Like, I will be, of course, building large factories, but I won't be doing it in one episode. I took on way too much with this, so I will need to like split it up more when I do like one stage per episode or something like that, because like, this is like, I've spent almost 30 hours in 3 days building this, and it's way too much. Something that I would normally split up over like so many gaming sessions over a lot of time. I've just been cranking out to try and make this episode for you guys. And to kind of take care of myself there and not drop the ball on other parts of my life, I need to set a boundary with myself there and make sure that I don't take something on like this again for a single episode. So yeah, that's why I'm going to say, for the next episode, we're going to do something a lot more chill. And it's mostly going to be like walking through some small stuff that I've unlocked, but I haven't dove deep into because I've been focused on this. But basically, now that we have the heavy modular frames, we don't have to bother with a lot of stuff that this would have bottlenecked us with otherwise, in the near future. Specifically with like railroad building and larger factories with like oil and plastic and some unlocks and stuff in the future as well. And the top one, both of the new advanced stuff in the top right corner needs heavy modular frames. So with this, we have that in place, so we can make those space elevator parts. But yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you have learned from this episode. And if you feel like there's something I have like skipped over or I didn't spend enough time on that you still have questions about, head on into the comments or join on me in the Discord and have a conversation with me about whatever it was that you were wondering about. And I love you for watching this far, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a good one, everyone. Bye!